Kenny here with Gardening Simplified. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're out here with Bryan from Appleby Community Farm, and he runs a CSA program here. He's an organic gardener, and he makes all his own compost, makes enough to supply his garden. So I think this would be something that would be important for a lot of us that like to organic garden. So we're going to come back here and look at his piles, and he's going to kind of tell us, how this is done, how he gets all this stuff done and works it out.
Okay.
And he's got his trusty thermometer, and we're going to go out here and look at these piles.
Okay. Well, to start off with, I have about 6 piles going right here, and 2 of them are piles of manure. The one over in this direction right here, that's pile of manure. That's a year old. Now I can use that already. I don't have to do anything more with it because it's cooled down, it's broken down enough, and it's pure horse stall droppings and stuff like that.
And this is the shorter pile?
This is a pile that's probably 2 years old, and we've used that up on the fields right here. These piles here are new. This pile in this corner right here is another pile of stuff I got out of stalls at the Equine Center at the SFA, which sadly they've closed it now because of the new management. Okay, now I've got 3 piles here that are different ages. The newest one is the furthest one on the corner there. I just started that one, and it's probably the hottest. We'll walk over there and we'll show you some temperature. And now, where do I get my materials? Okay. We have a brewery here in town. I use much of their spent grains that they brew with. And I use manure from these piles here. I use plants that I've taken out of the field that are not diseased, like squash plants and things that if they've got mold on them and things like they get that white mold, I usually don't put those kinds of things in there. And cucumbers, I usually don't put those in there too, because usually the cucumber beetle has left their disease on there too. The bacterial wilt, and we'll see how hot this gets to be. It's probably pretty warm. The temperature's going up. I'm figuring somewhere around 140, 150 degrees. Okay, I can't read that. What does that say? That's 100. We're at 140 now, and that's just a foot in. I like to see at least about 150. Looks like it's already cooled down a little bit too. Now, one thing that makes a difference, I haven't turned this in about a week, so it's probably that's all it's going to do. It's good to have your oxygen in here when you're composting, because that makes your bacteria thrive. So it looks like it's going to end up at about 140 degrees there. A lot of these are cooler. Now
they're worked on out as far as the temperature. They've composted down, so they're not as hot.
They're not as hot, yes.
Not as much nitrogen.
Now this is probably going to be cold because it's just manure that's been sitting a while. Now I'm not expecting to see any temperature. I think this is probably going to be cold because when I got it, it was already probably a year old, so I can actually just use this on the field. And just straight like it is. This came out of barns. It's still got a lot of wood chips in it, but I can tell from just putting my hand in it that it's still cool in there. So that can probably be used, but I still mix it with the new piles that I'm putting together for next year. And like I said, all the other plants that we come that I take out of the field go in here. Now I do have a chipper, and a lot of the bigger things I will go ahead and chip that stuff into smaller pieces. It breaks down a lot faster. When you grow okra plants, some of them are 8-10 feet tall, and they got stumps on them this big around. So it's good to have some of that stuff broken down.
I clear mine out with the chainsaw. So
yeah. Now I tend to not put the eggplants in there because the stems are so tough, they don't never seem to break down. So I don't put eggplants in there. That's just a nightshade. But as you can see, these are all piles that are going to feed my fields in the years to come. And I'll tell you, I got 68 beds. They're all raised beds, ranging from 40 feet to 125 feet long. And I can use up one of these well, let me back up. I've got sections. I've got a section back here that's probably about a half acre. And I'll use up one of these piles on feeding this whole section right here. So, and this is continuous. You know, I have about 6 piles going continuously. And I'm fortunate that there's people that have horses. And I like horse manure. I like using horse manure. I have used cow manure before.
Do you ever have problems with the pesticide residue from like Graze On or something like that to where your plants don't do good?
I think every gardener is going to have some things that don't do so well. It surprises me sometimes because I can use my compost in some beds, and they just grow differently in different areas. This part of the field is on top of the hill. It drains more than the front part of the field, so it gets drier faster. So I have to put more water in this end of the field than I do on the other side. And the things don't seem to do quite as well as others. And it's weird. I can grow banana peppers here, and they do great. And I'll move them over into the next field, and they're not do so good there. And the next time I put them back here, they don't do so good here too. But I think everybody has those things that just grow better one year and not the next year. And we like this year, cabbages were king. I grew about 300 cabbages, and all of them did wonderfully. They grew big, and they didn't have bug. And this is my fall garden. They didn't have bug pressure or anything like that, and that was a great crop. And my bell peppers didn't do so well last year. This year, we'll see. I don't know. We'll see how they do. I mean, they get the same kind of nourishment from the compost that I use. And I suppose if I did testing on it, which I don't spend the money on it because we make tens of dollars at what we do. So I tend not to, I just depend on what nature has done so far. And if it grows well, okay, then that's good. And that's about the only fertilizer I use, you know, other than maybe sometimes a little bit of fish emulsion that I can get at the box store. So I think it's Alaska.
Yeah, Alaska fish emulsion.
Fish emulsion. I'll use that sometime if I'm, and of course the other additives you have to put in there, you know. Sometimes I get a boron deficiency in my broccoli, so I'll add a little borax, you know, a little treatment of borax. With my root crops, there's a little potassium and some things that I'll amend with the beds. But as far as composting, that's what I do.
Yeah, I know you were talking about your fighting pests this year,
yeah.
and we are too, aphids, and I did kill one of your little black woolly worms that was running around over there, caterpillars.
I just sprayed for those.
Yeah, and that's one of the problems with organic gardening because we don't use those harsh chemical pesticides that don't really need to go into our body, let alone our plants, and get in there. But let's take a look at a little bit of your garden and see what's going on.
I've been eating on this end of this right here. As you can see, a lot of these plants have been eaten because my geese seem to like this end. So down here, as you can see, how it's flourishing a little bit more. I have collard greens growing over here. That seem to be doing pretty good. It's a variety of collard greens. I'm starting to see a little bit of yellow in it.
I've seen a lot more of that this year on mine, this yellow tips. I haven't had it in the past, but this year I've had in fact, my broccoli I'm fixing to take out because of that.
Oh, that's kohlrabi's.
Yeah, that is kohlrabi. I seen it was over there.
Yeah, that's kohlrabi's there. That's what that is right there. I get some of this stuff is brassicas all look the same. Now I'm getting a little bit of worms starting to eat this stuff over here. So yeah, those are kohlrabi's. This is all kohlrabi right here. I was mistaken. Now these plants look like something different, like maybe a collard.
And then that looks like a kohlrabi too.
Is it?
On the base, yeah.
Maybe it's just all kohlrabi. Now I have cauliflowers coming in. Now these are small by comparison. I grew these in that front field, and I had heads this big last year. And now these are not much older, and I'm getting these small heads, and they're maturing much faster. I'm not sure if it's just the heat starting to show up, that they're hurrying along with their thing, because it took a while for them to make a cauliflower. But back here, these guys are growing small and getting right to the point, you know.
Mm-hmm.
There's just some cabbages right here. This kale looks pretty good. That there's some cabbages there that have looked better.
Some Savoy variety.
Mm-hmm. This kale looks pretty good. See, this is what I'm talking about. Some of this stuff looks really good, and then some of it doesn't look so good.
Yeah, the bugs don't seem to.
Yeah.
Well, some of the kale right on the end, it looks like it got a little bit. But
okay, we got peppers here, and these guys are the green. I kind of go by the color of the leaves. They look like they're where they're supposed to be. I have a few cauliflowers growing over here, and the bugs have already started over here. Not my favorite year for bugs. They're eating everything. Those cauliflowers.
yeah,
and the
don't
worms.
see them now. Hopefully, the treatment has taken care of them. But yeah, it does affect, especially when you're growing as a CSA and you try to have different crops available. A crop failure really puts a dent in your.
Well, we also had all these plants on these rows right here. We had to cover because it got frosty again, and in their early growing stage. That may have something to do with how small they are. I don't know. That could be it. And all this stuff on this end was chewed by the geese. I covered them up to keep them off of it for a while, but and they're coming back.
Yeah,
but I'm seeing some
like
that are already growing seeds, and they're spreading out like that. So this is not my best field. The one in the front is a lot better.
Well, you know we don't want to sugarcoat it, so we show the good with the bad.
Yeah, I call my plants the good, bad, and the ugly. Now,
go ahead.
Now here's something that's really good. My onions are coming out really nicely. They're starting to bulb now, and I have only seen like maybe 5 that started to seed out. So and
yeah, Vicky said you like onions as much as we do, but I said, well, he's doing a CSA, so he's got to grow a lot more onions.
Yeah, we grew about 6,000 of them in this field, and I have more on the other side. Now this Swiss chard over here is from our fall crop, and we've never had Swiss chard seed out before. I've never seen our Swiss chard seed out, but these plants are starting to seed out, and I just sprayed with some spinosad because those furry worms have got all in them, and they've eaten quite a bit. It's worse over there, but you can see there's a lot of leaf that's gone here, and I sprayed the other day, and let me see if. A lot of times what I can do, I can strip all this back down to where it's the core of the plant, and it'll come back by itself. And when unless it's doing this.
Yeah.
So that's
I've never had mine go to seed. Of course, bugs normally take mine over.
Oh, there's a furry guy.
Yeah.
I don't want to touch them because some of these are poisonous.
Yeah, I hadn't been poisoned yet, but they do. A lot of times they do hold on good. But yeah, I make sure that I make a good squishy mess down there.
Yeah, that's the only one I've seen.
No, you got another one hiding right here, little one.
We get army worms here too.
Whoop, she's dropping down, trying to get away.
Yeah, like I said, this fall garden is not my favorite. These were sprayed 2 days ago, so there's still a few.
Yeah, I'm kind of got to where I'm a caterpillar spotter. There's your another one right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vicky says she don't touch them either, or no, my daughter said I don't touch them either because she said if the chickens don't eat them, I don't touch them.
Yeah. Now I got squash started pretty good. So now I do something because we have vine borers. So I've been using a company that makes beneficial nematodes. So all these have been treated with what they call triple threat, and it's 3 different species of the nematodes, and one of them was called neem seek, and it's the one that seeks the larvae that's in the soil, and mainly for vine borers. We have a horrible time with vine borers here in Texas, in this part of the country, and these guys look like they're going to be doing okay. They're just starting out. They're brand new. Since we've been growing flowers, I've noticed this is probably the core of our worm population right here. All these flowers that we grow, because and I see all kinds of butterflies, moths, and all kinds of getting pollen and nectar from these plants.
Yeah, I have the same thing like with my purple cone flower. Of course,
Yeah.
they really like it, but yeah, if they lay their eggs on some of the other crops,
Yeah,
I just
they
feel sorry for them.
We got garlic growing right here, and this looks like it's doing pretty well. A little bit of parsley down in the middle of it.
Yeah, some dill down there mixed in amongst it.
Now all this over here are leeks, and they look like they're doing pretty well too. We got new crops of turnips and radishes. Turnips are taking a little bit slow getting going. We have that red clay here in East Texas, and I'm having to deal with it. But these guys are getting blown by the wind. We've had some pretty good wind, and this is a new place. I've not grown them here, and I like the results so far because I'm getting some size on them this time. Yeah. Other than the last places in the rows back here, they were getting this big. They were like an inch, you know, and that's about the biggest I was seeing. So they're liking them here. So I might think about putting them here again in the future. And they just a couple days ago, and I haven't even seen that they're even breaking the surface.
Okay, those are you just direct seeded green beans
there just for time's sake, because we're so late. We're so late because we've had torrential rains for the last couple of months. It seems like.
And this scale here, you've been picking a while. I can see it's kind of
it was from last the fall planting too, and it's seeding out. And this scale's from the fall plant. I mean the last spring. Where are we at? We're in the summer. The last fall planting. This kale survived from the cold. We covered everything up with agribon, and these guys survived. They're just not growing very big, and they are starting to seed out. So they were stressed too much too. I've got new cucumber beds. These are just starting out right now. Oh, and look, I direct seeded some of the squashes here, and we've got new squash plants coming here. So that's going to be all squashes here.
Yeah. Now you was telling me when we were off camera that you started using this row cover. Well, you've been using it ever since you've been here, but you have a nutgrass problem. Yeah. And this is the easy way, or a beneficial way to deal with it, so it doesn't take over.
It doesn't. It's taken over. We have a relationship. We just kind of get along with each other because I can't get rid of it. In fact, everywhere I've looked, they said, "What are we doing about nutgrass?" And the best advice I got was move. Just move somewhere else where they don't have it.
Yeah, I was checking into pigs, and they say pigs won't eat the.
I did that, and they ate up the nut grass, and they just pooped it out, and it just grew better. But I'll have to tell you, in the area where those pigs I had was one of the best gardens I've ever seen, and that was pretty cool. This is the rest of my onions. The red onions are in this field right here.
Is that a sunflower or a black-eyed Susan?
That's a sunflower. Yeah. I'm not sure which one. We grow some that are red, big cores like this, you know. And this was some from our fall growing last year. And there's the potatoes right here. And now I just sprayed for potato beetle because I found adult About the other day, I found 10 adult beetles, but not much larvae.
Yeah,
So,
our method is we use a rechargeable car vac and
yeah,
vacuum up all the adults, and then we
yeah,
come in and spray because spinosad won't kill the adults; it'll kill
I know.
the immature ones,
Yeah,
and then the neem oil will coat the eggs, so that kind of takes care
yeah.
of them. And we sprayed right after that, and it's been 3 weeks, and we're still potato bug free, so that's
Well,
great.
I usually I only have to spray one time. I've never seen them come back after one spray, and I pretty much spray the whole plant.
Yeah,
I have a
yeah.
little tank that I put on a little trailer, and I'll come over here and I'll spray the whole plant, top to bottom. And usually I don't have a problem after that. And my Kennebecks are kind of spotty. Every hole had a plant in it, had a potato in it, and I didn't really cut these. I just I pretty much put them in their hole, and they were planted later though, so maybe it's premature. But I've got 10 rows. There's 2 rows on each one of these beds, and that's pretty much it. We've got grapes in the back there. That's muscadines, and they're making little baby grapes right now.
Yeah, and you have a lot of cars here today.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
You you do this hoot nanny
Yes.
that you do. Well, she says now you're going to do it bi-yearly,
Twice a year.
but you had been doing it once a year,
Yeah.
and invites the whole community out,
Yeah.
and that way you get a chance to experience the farm, and
Yeah.
you get to eat.
Yeah.
Because they just bring a covered dish. They ask you to bring a covered dish, but they supply barbecue and stuff. And it's a great place to come, and you can get involved in their CSA program, purchase a CSA where you pay monthly and you get weekly groceries. And you can find these in a lot of your areas. And if you're in the East Texas area, and this is real close to Nacogdoches, so it's really a great option, which they do the farmers market too. But anyway, I figured, did I miss anything or?
I would just one thing about this the thing we're having today is it's our way to thank the community for supporting us, because we're our 15th year, and we're still here, and we're still working hard. We still work hard each year to try to serve our community, and this is our way to say thank you to them.
Yeah, people just don't realize what a farmer goes through to get a crop, because it's not all roses. You put a seed in the ground and you got this beautiful plant. It goes on through. You don't have to deal with anything. It is a chore when it comes to farming. But anyway, I appreciate your time, Bryan.
No problem, man.
And
I'm glad I was
I
able
hope
to help.
all you listeners got something out of this that's useful. And if you want to see more content like this, of course, hit the subscribe, hit that bell and select all. Give it a big thumbs up and share this video. Enjoy that gardening experience.